Welcome to this session of Women Deliver Live. I'm Chrisula Weiniger, Community Manager of the Global Moms Challenge, here with United Nations Foundation. We are privileged to speak with Cori Ruktanonchai, who is with Flowminder. Flowminder is an organization that uses incredible satellite imagery and mapping to speak to data, missing data, on the equality and health of women and girls. Flowminder is also a partner of the United Nations Foundation's Data 2X project, which aims to fill those gaps in what we don't know about women and girls around the world. So Cori, help me understand why we need to specifically know about gender data, why we need to separate that out. What is it? Why do we need it?
Thank you. Well, the idea is that gender data is fundamental in order to achieving gender equality. We know that there are some health aspects that affect only women, for example, childbirth. For example, there are some countries in which males tend to be more literate than females, things like that. We know that inequalities continue to persist, both between and within countries. And historically, we've used national level indicators, for example. We've used indicators that combine both males and females, and that's important. That tells an important story, but it's not the whole story. So what we do at Flowminder and WorldPop in partnership with Data 2X is we partner with statistical agencies around the world. We partner with health ministries around the world, and we partner with businesses around the world for mobile phone technology, things like that, in order to develop high-resolution maps that show not only where populations are, but also what those populations look like. So what age are those populations? What gender are those populations? And now that has important public health implications in terms of disease burden, in terms of disaster response, things like that. But as we move into the Sustainable Development Goal era, it's going to be crucial to understand where to target interventions and who to target those interventions towards. There are specific goals that focus on health, that focus on gender equality, but we know that these goals will be fundamental to other sustainable development goals. It's going to be crucial in order to understand where those populations are. But in order to do that, we need to have a very strong baseline evidence base by which we can monitor progress from that baseline, and we can see how we're doing. And that's sort of where these maps can come into play and where Flowminder and WorldPop can come into play.
So why should we be interested in mapping health and equality in this gender split?
Well, again, we know that there are specific health outcomes that affect only women. And core to achieving those gender equality and health outcome goals is going to be breaking these indicators down to their constituent parts. We need to know not only where populations are, but what those populations look like. And those are going to be, like I said, not only specific to the Sustainable Development Goals that are for gender equality and health, but critical to all of the Sustainable Development Goals, because without gender equality, you cannot achieve the other Sustainable Development Goals.
It has to be threaded through every single one of those Sustainable Development Goals. So how do governments actually use these maps once they have them, and can they contribute to that mapping process themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would venture to guess that there are the vast majorities of countries in the world, if not every single country, has limited resources in which they have to work with. One thing that we have found when we do partner with these statistical agencies, with the government themselves, with the health ministries, one thing we found is that they need to know how to allocate their resources effectively. They need to know they have their intervention, they need to know how to reach the most amount of people with the least amount of money. And that's where we can help. There's a lot of systems that are available currently. There's a lot of systems that are live, including Flowminder and WorldPop, and including within governments themselves. And the nice thing about this sort of new method and these sort of new techniques is that you can update these things in real time, and you can monitor health and monitor progress in real time. And that's really going to be the future of monitoring and evaluation as we move forward into the Sustainable Development Goal era.
So talk us through how we use this information to actually track or contribute to the tracking and measurement process for the Sustainable Development Goals. And then particularly within that, what does that look like for low resource settings, countries that don't have quite all the tools?
Right, and one of the main focuses of WorldPop and of Flowminder is to take these methods that are openly available, freely accessible to everyone, to governments, just through websites, and to complement what already exists. I mean, we don't want to go in and say, you need to redo everything. We want to say, here's what we can contribute. For very little added effort on your part, we can add a lot of value. And that's really the core focus, is that we can take these satellite images, we can take these GPS-located health surveys, and we can take mobile phone and human mobility information, and we can complement what's already there and start filling in the gaps to create higher accuracy estimates for all governments around the world.
Cori, this is really exciting. Who knew that data could be such an incredibly fascinating topic for the non-initiated? But thank you so much for your expertise, for your time, and everything that you and the Flowfinder organization are doing. And thank you for being a partner of Data2X. Great to have you here.